And they kicked me in the John Wiener.
Wrestle Buddies. Give me another great.
And they kicked me in the John Wiener. What up to all the homies out there? It's your boys Perry Wayne and AJG Papa 3, a.k.a.
Skulk Demon.
A.k.a.
Five Nights at Freddy.
A.k.a.
Freddy Got Fingered.
I thought you were going to go House of the Dragon, but it is what it is. And we are the Wrestle Buddies coming at you live from our houses. So
Sorry,
we got it.
Talking about Hot D all the time.
Yeah. Let's not, we're going to stay that. We're going to stay away from that today. What we're not going to stay away from is Friday Night SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about it.
Well, real quick, before we get going, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at AJG of 3, and like, subscribe, and comment on Spotify, Wrestle Buddy Veterans. All right, Punk and Owens. Oh, buddy. There was a lot of tension there, and I enjoyed it. My question, though, is this going to fulfill the lackluster build that we got between Punk and Cody? And it seems we're not going to have a lot of buildup. I assume we're going to get something between them tomorrow night, but Kevin Owens requested that he have his title match in Toronto at SmackDown on the 21st, so next Friday. Going to be a quick turnaround. Does that mean this is it real quick and we're done? If that's the case, I think Punk's going to win, but I don't know. But the tension is just so thick between the two. Their conversation that they had with each other without the microphones was really, really intense. They did the callbacks of the beef that was between them. You had mentioned last week about KO wrestling in a t-shirt and Punk saying that it's unprofessional. He's like, I see you're in your gear there, Kevin. He's like, what are you talking about? Shorts.
Right.
I don't wear pants in the ring. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait to see the interaction between them tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think this is a one-off by any means. I don't know if it would be making toward like a blood feud, but a lot of Punk's best stuff, like, and I think we talked about it before, like with Drew McIntyre, that was a blood feud, obviously, over the bracelets and whatnot. But this one does not strike me as a one and done. It could wind up with Kevin Owens getting a little title run action. I don't think it'll happen off rip. We'll have to see with the if Cody stays away. I know he's got his hands full right now with Randy, but yeah, I'm just interested to see the way it plays out. Excited to see him tomorrow night.
Yeah, just the quick turnaround of when this match is going to happen. Almost pretty much 3 weeks to the day from when Kevin Owens won the number one contender spot at SummerSlam. And then the 21st Toronto SmackDown. It makes me think that CM Punk will win. However, who's to say that Kevin Owens doesn't win and then he has a little short reign like Sammy did?
Right. And where does he, if at all, fit into this?
Yeah, and then Cody and Randy. It was very interesting what Cody decided. I mean, that happened at the end of SmackDown, or towards the end of SmackDown before the main event. But it was really interesting to hear, I don't know, this course correction from what their feud maybe should have been leading into WrestleMania. Randy says, my goal is for you to never get that WWE Championship back again. And Cody's like, "What are you talking about? Do you see a title? Like, I'm not champion anymore. I don't have to be the good guy anymore because he doesn't have to uphold this standard of being the WWE champion and what that entails." Uh, and then Randy, you're a legend killer, but you're the only legend left. Who's going to put you down, man? That's what I've been looking for. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, Cody's going to come out on top of this. I think it just depends on whether we're going to get more heelish Cody or not. And he's alluding to it. They've been teasing it forever. So
I don't know if he does come out on top because Randy, he takes these 2 to 4 month hiatuses. Who's to say that Randy like wins the match, but Cody punts him in the head after the match or does something real evil, and that keeps Cody on television. It writes Randy off for however long, but maybe we get some more matches between these two, which I think we could. I think there's a way where you can have Randy come out on top, but keep Cody on television by if they're going to lean into this bad guy stuff, you know?
yeah, it could be kind of similar to almost like the Bret Hart Stone Cold feud and how Stone Cold they did that double turn, and I don't think you need that obnoxious of a double turn between these two, but it's esque where you know Cody can kind of assume that Bret Hartish role where he's just jaded and stuck. Almost similar to Sami Zayn. The way Sammy's been playing it, it's different. But Sammy basically won and started getting booed out of the building because of the effect it had on what Mello and Ilya, like their potential at WrestleMania. Correct?
I mean, I don't know if it's a double turn because Randy's never going to get booed. So
Right.
he's be a face. So it's not a double turn. And then, we just want to see a heel turn, something that Cody has been a version of when he was in between WWE and AEW. He had this real dark side. I think that's kind of what everybody wants to see. Will they give it to us? I don't know. People are going to keep pining for it, and that's part of what I get into in nuance for the homies is the patience that people need to have when it comes to letting things play out. Because if Cody turns heel or when Cody turns heel, it's going to be a big, big deal, a very, very big deal. And he might not. He may just end up being booed a la John Cena. And maybe that's what he wants, is to a mixture of reactions of people who love singing his song and giving him praise. And then the other half are like, oh, okay, we're tired of Cody.
No, that's a good take. And it's kind of like, how do you want it to go? I was thinking about how Roman Reigns got the push, 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 push. And he got the shit booed out of him for years. And then he came back at SummerSlam wasn't it during COVID?
Yep.
And all of a sudden he's like working heel, but everyone loves him.
Well, we don't really know how much they loved him because of, the Thunderdome and everybody was on screens around him. But it allowed him to really evolve this character that he came back as, this tribal chief, and took him to another level when it comes to in-ring work because of the communication that he produces during a match. Where he talks to the camera, or he talks to his opponent, or talks to a referee, or talks to his wise man. And that in turn allowed him to silence a fucking arena or a stadium when he's in a match because he stops and says something,
Right.
So
Well, it's just we've got the two biggest heel turns of say the 2020s with Roman Reigns and John Cena. If they play it right with Cody, like you said, it's going to be a big deal. I'm interested to see how they play it.
the New Day was one of the biggest heel turns of the 2020s. I understand it's not. The follow up was odd, but I would think probably.
No, that's a really good take. I don't think it was bigger than Cena's heel turn. Um, mm, Probably not bigger than Roman Reigns, but yeah, one of the third biggest of the 2020s so far.
I don't even
Absolutely
consider Roman Reigns coming back as the tribal chief being a heel turn because it wasn't. It didn't just happen like Cena and the New Day one, or even Hulk Hogan for the NWO.
agreed.
It was a methodical process into
Right.
because people still love the bloodline, you know. He, wa-
Yeah, that's
so I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about it in a little bit when we get to what's good for homies about malleability. So
for sure.
we'll see. I do think that a Cody heel turn could be one of the biggest, but just like I just said, it all depends about how the follow up goes because John Cena's it was awesome, it was great, and it waned a little. No, not to use your name, but it it was subdued because I think the rock of it all was supposed to be a bit more prevalent in it, and it wasn't. Um,
Right.
and then same goes with New Day. Like you and I talked about it when the New Day turned. We were like trying to conjure up who Big E was going to team up with to go against the New Day.
Right.
But it was just quick. It was just a quick heel turn. They did something with it for a little bit. They ended up winning the tag titles again, and now it looks like New Day. They're going to be teaming with Swerve Strickland here in AEW soon at All In for the trios titles because it looks like it's Brodito and Hangman Page versus Swerve and two other people, and
Right.
I'm thinking it's going to be Kofi and Apollo. I don't know if Kofi's going to go by a different name. I would assume he would have to.
We shall see. I hope I know they did some stuff with them after the heel turn, but it kind of felt like it didn't the steam didn't hold with that, and obviously the big move seemed like it was like, oh, you know, Big E's coming back, which obviously didn't happen, and probably because it couldn't happen for medical reasons, or maybe he was just happier in the booth.
Like medical reasons, he came out and said that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, um, happy for those guys. Hopefully they show up in AEW and it just they blow the roof off of that place.
So Braun Breaker, his despondent and zoned out self when he's outside of the ring, once he's told to do something or not told to do something, once he's put into position to be physical, he like lights up. It looks like we're gearing towards Braun versus Oba, but my question is, are we moving towards them too fast? Because if these are your two future people, what event is big enough to showcase that these are your two future mainstays of the company? And I'm not seeing a Saturday Night's Main Event being that, even though it's in Atlanta, Georgia, and Braun's from Georgia.
I think these guys are young enough that this still fits the bill. You can, get a record of wins losses with them going early in the game, and it is also a legitimate steer away from the title for now. Because coming out of SummerSlam, we're like, oh, what's the biggest match they could make for WrestleMania? Now begins the build toward WrestleMania in a sense. Um, Oba versus Roman. You want to keep that one in the holster in the chamber for a little bit. Who was not in a big time role at SummerSlam? Braun. so it serves multiple purposes. It gets two of your two biggest up and coming young studs in the ring in a feud. They're going to be around for years and get to do this. Hopefully, plenty more times. It steers Obo away from Roman and gets Braun on TV.
Well, he's never not been on TV.
That's true. But I mean, I like it.
I saw that Roman Reigns' contract comes up, I want to say like May of next year. And with it got me thinking of why this feud between Braun and Oba is happening when it's happening. It got me thinking, well, Roman just went against CM Punk at WrestleMania. Huge match. Probably the last time they'll go against each other.
Right.
He just went against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. And it was kind of built that it was going to be the last time ever. Now we've got Roman Reigns going to Mexico City, Monday Night Raw in Mexico City on September 14th, I think. Going against the winner of that AAA Lucha tournament. More than likely going to be Penta winning that. And we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Penta, a match that I never thought we would see like 5 years ago.
Right.
And we're probably going to get it in Mexico City. Huge match.
Right.
And now we're getting even more character development with Solo Sikoa. And he's brought Jacob Fatu into the fold. And there's things materializing. Zilla Fatu debuted on NXT this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oba Femi's on the rise. Is Oba Femi going to be Roman's last match if they go against each other at WrestleMania? Is this like all of these things that are happening that are really cool things? And supposedly the John Cena Classic in December, someone's going to go against a champion there. Are we going to get a last time ever match of Roman Reigns versus X? I don't know. It kind of makes me feel like this is a snowball turning into an avalanche leading to WrestleMania next year because Roman's contract's up.
Like a low-key potential retirement tour. Not even like low-key, but...
Maybe not full retirement. Maybe like, he'll wrestle one time a year at WrestleMania. But like maybe this is a way to slowly... I don't know. It just got me thinking because of all the things that he is doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much since WrestleMania.
No. God, man. You got some good takes today, dude. That's really good, and I hadn't even, thought about connecting those dots the way you just did. But that's true with everything. Jacob Fatu, family member, got the right after Mania stuff. He had the big match with Punk. Or excuse me, he had the big match with Punk at WrestleMania, Jacob Fatu. Then he got Cody. It looks like LA Knight may get a little bit as well. There's this Zilla Fatu stuff floating around out there. I know I'm all over the place with it. And Oba's on the rise. It just you said it perfectly. I tried to say it as good as you did, and I couldn't. But yeah, it could be that with his contract coming up shortly after WrestleMania next year, this is a way to transition him not to like full on I'm leaving my gear in the ring type retirement, but like you said, to that kind of John Cena-esque once, twice a year type thing. And it would all make sense and the shoe would fit.
Right, which makes we can just go into what's good homies because it kind of ties into that just with the I mean, we were on the Solo Dolo train way before everybody else. I mean, I sent you a video clip of you and I talking about him in, I want to say it was either in March or April, on how much we really enjoyed Solo's work, his character work, about being the little brother that just, he's utilizing that little brother syndrome that he had when he was a child, and he's using it against his family now. Him dodging the warning shot and asking people if they were okay behind him.
Bro, he is a darling of the social media shorts right now. That guy is. I can't. I can't get on any social media platform and go to shorts without that popping up, a version of it.
Yeah, and him and Jay, they ended up having a match, and the stipulations of it is, if Solo won, you got to leave him the hell alone, and if Jay won, then he's bringing him back to the bloodline. My question is though, is Roman's been on this? I'm doing things on my own when it comes to in ring things, and then Jacob Fatu beat Royce Keys on his own in the ring once the match was over, and Fatu destroyed the shit out of Keys afterwards. Roman came out and gave him like the good job, guy. I'm wondering, since Jimmy got himself involved in that match on Raw, is Roman Reigns going to accept the results because Jay didn't do it on his own? I mean, Fatu even mentioned prior to their match that the OTC didn't call this play. Jay just decided to do it on his own.
Right. And that's been the common theme with Roman's matches. And correct me if I'm wrong, but against Jacob Fatu for Tribal Combat, against Punk at WrestleMania, against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, and that's kind of the message he's sending is, and Seth even called him out. You can't do it on your own. He has been, and so it wouldn't surprise me if he rolls that over and uses it against the outcome of this match and says, no, that's not the play I called.
Yeah. Because a lot of the internets are freaking out. They're like, they made Solo lose. Now he's got to go back to the bloodline. They're just going to kill his buzz that he, like, I don't know. I mean, I could see, even if Roman does accept the results of the match and Solo comes back, I could see Solo being, yeah, I'm part of the bloodline, but still just being, disruptive and being a jerk, just mocking everybody. And
Yeah,
he's like,
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's almost like Solo and Jacob are gonna be part of the bloodline, but they're doing it on their own terms, and they're just going rogue as often as they can while still adhering to whatever
What?
Roman is telling them.
Rogue?
Well, he just doesn't give a fuck what Jimmy and Jay have to say.
Right, because he follows the orders of the OTC.
Right.
My thing is, though, what if Solo doesn't go back because Roman doesn't accept the results? And something that I had mentioned to you a while ago is that Roman is using Jacob as this dog on a leash and unleashing him when he sees fit. And he's sick. Jacob on Royce Keys, who Jacob, and I don't know if you saw the photo of Jacob. Or no, it was Solo and Royce Keys sitting behind JR and Jerry the King Lawler at a Monday Night Raw when they were like 7 and 9 years old. But they've all been friends for 30 plus years. And he had to take out Royce Keys. Well, now is Roman going to be like, this is the way it's done, Jimmy and Jay. And he sicks Jacob on Solo to get him into the fold or just destroy him. He's going to keep sicking Jacob on the people that he loves until he can't take it anymore.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I like the take that Roman will not accept the result because of Jimmy's interference, but I don't know exactly what that will mean moving forward. I don't know if it means Jacob's going to have to destroy Solo. I hope not. I hope they can figure out a way to continue to push this the Solo Yola thing that they've got going on with him, because he's cash money on the mic. He's a character. He's a great character.
If it pans out that they're on the bloodline side and it looks like we're getting LA Knight versus the winner of the Mexico City match between Roman and whoever wins that tournament, but more than likely it's going to be Roman that wins. It looks like at Money in the Bank we're going to get Roman Reigns versus LA Knight.
Mhm.
Like if all those Royce Keys has been written off for a bit by Jacob Fatu, if Solo has to go over there to the bloodline, it's just LA Knight by his lonesome once again. But Roman says he does things on his own now. They're putting so much pressure on the on the factor that LA Knight, everybody wants him to win a title, but it looks like they're teetering the scale so much to the Roman Reigns side that everybody was like, well, of course LA Knight lost. So maybe they don't get criticized as much.
I mean, do you think LA Knight could win?
Maybe, but I don't think so. I really don't. Be interested to hear what that New Orleans crowd sounds like in an LA Knight Roman Reigns match. The build of it all is going to be very important because they're not going to boo. They cheer both of them, you know.
Mhm.
So is the crowd in New Orleans just going to want LA Knight to win? Who cares who's on the other side of him? I don't think so.
No.
A lot of people just don't think LA Knight is world champion potential, and we've talked about why people think that is. I've talked about why I think he's not long for a long title run. He flubs on.
Right.
He swallows his own gum on the mic. He screws up in the ring sometimes. One thing if you screwed up in the ring and could play it in a way as a mistake that you made, but it's always that same freaking move that he screws up on, the jump from the middle rope to the top rope to the he, that's the one he consistently messes up.
Right.
Yeah. Or the straight vert jump that he does when the guy's up on the top rope sitting on the turnbuckle.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times that's on the guy because when the person jumps up there, they're supposed to grab them.
LA Knight needs to have something in the holster for if that happens again. Like, if he flubs that jump up, he just needs to start from scratch, and before he starts again, he needs to just be like, and then like headbutt the turnbuckle or something. Just something comical, something real, and I think that would, instead of just immediately going back to it like it never happened, like just own the shit out of it.
Yeah, maybe like, when a guy misses a free throw and they like curse at themselves, like, get your shit together, Knight. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it says something to himself.
Yeah, if he just has a conversation for like 5 seconds between him and the turnbuckle, and he's turning around, hand on his hips, like, God damn it, get your shit together. And he's just yelling at the turnbuckle, but really himself or something. Just something very, very that feels real and organic, whatever it is. I think that would go a long ways, at least with the crowd, and maybe with even like creative backstage, just like improving and ad libbing through a flow.
Or he could just not fuck up.
Well, well,
Because he's getting his moment. And this is usually when it happens, when he fucks up, is when there's obvious LA Knight build into something.
well. You sound like me when I'm instructing my students. I'm just like, hey, if you're always right, you're never wrong. If you could just be perfect, then we will have zero problems.
Women's main and mid card, definitely getting an influx on the Raw side with Stephanie Baker and Becky Lynch, Sol Ruka, and Io going against Judgment Day. Lyra's hanging out in I don't know, the monk closet. I don't know.
God.
She's so. Did you see Io's facial expressions when Lyra showed up?
Yes. Just like, it was kind of like,
Yeah, she was disgusted. Like, oh my god.
hopefully that camera doesn't pan down and catch a glimpse of your crack pipe.
Yeah. Oh my god.
oh,
But yeah,
oh,
I like what they're doing. We're not getting actual title matches. That's okay. But we're getting. It looks like we're probably getting. My guess, maybe Soul, Steph, and Becky versus the Judgment Day at the next Saturday night's main event.
yeah, those waters are a little muddy, but they haven't cleared them up yet. But I think that's a decent take.
Yeah, and then we get like a number one contender match between Becky and Stephanie Vaquer to go against Liv Morgan. Maybe that happen. That match, the winner of that match, goes against Liv at Money in the Bank. We'll see.
Right.
Or maybe
I wonder.
we look at the schedule. Maybe it happens at. I don't know if they're doing a Raw in South America on that tour. Maybe it happens in Mexico City.
Right.
Stephanie Vicker versus Liv Morgan in Mexico City for the championship. Or we get a triple threat.
Yeah. That. Yeah. I wonder about Stephanie Vickers. Keeping her close to the title, I think, is smart. I just didn't think that her first title reign was as. Granted, they can't all be like 10 out of 10s, but her first title reign was a little So I hope that doesn't harm her.
Defended that much, just like with Liv. They just kind of let her
Yeah.
hold it.
Yeah.
And then Liv won the Royal Rumble, and that's when we started building towards something. And I thought the build between Liv and Stephanie was really good leading up to WrestleMania. The match
It was.
itself lended itself to be a lot desired for, but
Mhm.
I think that's because Stephanie was hurt.
Right. And so was Liv with that fucking thing on her forehead. But you're absolutely right. That was one of the best builds, leading into WrestleMania for sure. And like you said, the match left a little bit to be desired, but ultimately it was because one or both of them was hurt. Um, th- then Liv caught all that flack for not defending the title for 100 something days, and she still had that banger with EO.
Yeah.
At SummerSlam. So I think you can just because you're the champ doesn't mean you have to defend it every so often. You're going to catch a little bit of smoke for it, but I don't think it ultimately didn't detract from her storyline from like a creative standpoint. Like the fact that she went out there and still threw the fuck down with EO two times. One once for the title, once for Queen of the Rings. Like she wasn't rusty or shitty, and I don't think it took away from her storyline. So, um, I honestly, who do you think had the better title run? So far, would you say Stephanie or Liv?
They both had shitty title runs so far.
Okay,
I would say that Liv's is probably better now because of who she beat.
right.
So, but I don't think either of them were good, honestly. I think
Okay.
Liv's getting better.
Well, putting Becky in the mix is only going to make the whole thing better. Give it steam. You're going to get good ring work, good mic work, everything. Becky's the total package.
Well, she's malleable.
Yeah.
She, I mean, she came back and was face almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
She's been working heel for what, 2 years now?
Mm-hmm.
And just like that, she got the crowd to believe, oh, she's the good guy now. Not many people can do that. I think her and her husband can do that. Seth. I think,
John Cena didn't even turn face as quick and as well as they did.
well, yeah, he did. Because all it did, his music hit, and then we got bright colors, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's
That's fair.
But there's not many people who can do that. I think maybe Solo is now probably in that category. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see. I don't know. It's going to be hard to boost Solo again. I think depends on what he does.
Randy could do that.
Nope, not anymore. Randy doesn't get booed anymore, man.
Kevin Owens?
I don't think so. Not since his comeback. I don't think he can get booed again.
Okay. Jey Uso?
If he stops doing the run it back, yeah, maybe.
Okay. All right. I won't keep going. Good shit.
That's tough though. I think Drew McIntyre can do it.
Yeah.
because he was getting booed against CM Punk, but then Drew can pretty quickly continue to be the truth teller that he is and get people on his side.
Uh, Sami Zayn.
I don't know. I thought Sami Zayn was going to get some cheers once he got that championship, and he kind of did get screwed over, but those cheers haven't come back yet. But we'll see.
They will. They will.
I mean, I guess outside of America, yes.
Yeah.
Film in America, but everywhere else he gets cheered.
All he's got to do is abandon the last real good guy thing, and they'll love him.
I think eventually Dom Mysterio will be this way.
There you go.
And that's why that's what you call a segue, kids. For our nuance for the homies, with this Lucha tournament, Dom was pretty upset that he wasn't put into it. And so he had a match against Dragon Lee to see who would be in the tournament. Dragon Lee ultimately ended up winning, and now that's 4 straight losses for your boy Dominic Mysterio. But I think now that they're having active interaction again between his deadbeat dad and Dom, I think something is brewing. I don't know what it is. They're going to have to interact now that his deadbeat dad is the GM over there at AAA.
Shenanigans are afoot, homies.
Well, I don't know. Is there some kind of redemption arc coming where Dom keeps losing, he keeps fucking whining about it, and Ray is just finally tough loves him. Be like, you keep losing, son. Like, get your shit together. You're the mega champion. Like, I've never held that title. Do something. Because, and I think that story out there that Dom is frustrated with his
Like
storyline,
booking on Raw, Vice.
that is a planted story. I don't think
Yeah.
it's why well, hold on. I don't think it's a real story. I think it was put out there on purpose, though, which makes me think it's about to happen with Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, I could see him getting a really big, almost like what went down with El Grande Americano and Chad Gable. Just something of that level of grandeur, and maybe incorporating Rey Mysterio into the end of it. Not necessarily in the ring and finish, but having him play his part as his father. That could be a part of it. I'm not sure against who. Like I don't watch AAA enough to know if they could build a story like that.
I don't think Mysterio can get booed either. So even if he does something shady to help Dominic Mysterio, I think the crowd would love it.
Yeah, yeah. That's. I hope this is all basically like you alluded to, part of Dom's ultimate redemption arc. Because if it's not, it's hard to say right now. Like we're trying to make sense of it, and this is our best effort, but making sense of this 4-match losing streak continuing is going to be tougher and tougher the longer it goes, until the redemption starts showcasing itself as a possibility.
I hope we get El Grande Americano versus Dom at that Mexico City Raw.
That's what I'm fucking talking about right there.
I would really like that. If we just get all these banger matches on a Monday Night Raw, that'd be crazy. Roman Reigns, more than likely Penta, Liv, Becky, Stephanie Vaquer for the women's title. Dom versus El Grande Americano for the Mega Champion. That would be awesome. Maybe we get Soul, Lyra, and Raquel.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
My last little thing here for like nuances, and they're not just random people. They're like people with podcasts, people with accounts that cover wrestling, talking about Roxanne Perez and what I thought. I thought she was supposed to be the next up and coming woman, and I'm just like, are you like dense, or do you not listen to commentary, because one of the most important things when it comes to watching the WWE product is to listen to what Wade Barrett, Joe Tess, Corey Graves, and Michael Cole say, because they give you a lot of nuggets that are information for what type of foreshadowing may be occurring and or storytelling trajectory points that are about to occur. Because Liv was in there after SummerSlam and called Roxanne her little prodigy. She's my little prodigy.
Right.
And commentary talked about that a few times this past Monday and last week on Liv saying that. So those little nuggets of information, like, do you think Roxanne is always going to want to be Liv's little prodigy? Well, she was a prodigy before she joined the Judgment Day. She was known as the prodigy in NXT. So
Right.
there's obviously something bubbling here. And it goes back to the way that I watch wrestling, as if that is a little trailer for what is about to come. Like, something is going to happen with Roxanne. Maybe she wins Money in the Bank and she ain't the little prodigy anymore. I don't know.
Right.
We have to show some kind of patience when we get these little, like the Big Cass thing. He's been back for 2 weeks. He's just been stacking bodies, basically. And people are like, this is all Big Cass is going to do. He fucking took out Javon Evans, and then he took out Dragon Lee, and Javon came out and tried to get his lick back, but couldn't. We're showing you that Javon Evans is going to have to go against these bigger people in order to be elevated into that main card area. Because who else is on the roster that is as big physically as Big Cass?
Right.
Oba. We want to, and I understand that Javon and Oba have had matches before in NXT. Javon didn't win. He showed out. He was incredible in those matches, but we need to retell stories sometimes in order to get them in the mind's eye of the main card watching audience. Because you don't watch NXT.
No, I agree with you, and I can only think of what would be said. Like, let's say Big Cass came out first night back after SummerSlam and made Obafemi eat a boot and beat the shit out of him. What are people going to say? This guy's been away for 10 years. He comes back. He immediately gets Oba. What's the deal with that? There's no due paying. There's no nothing. We don't even know if this guy can wrestle because, I don't watch NXT.
Well, Big Cass was
I
in AEW for the last.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like to not have all this cross brand, knowledge and know really what's going on. It's kind of a no win situation sometimes, and having that thought process or that stance, um, practicing patience is good. We've alluded to this before on the podcast when everybody was clamoring for Oba this time and later in the year last year. Just hold, just wait. You will get fed. And
Well, that's it. I said it to you. I'm fully convinced that most of the wrestling watching community is incapable of satisfying their partners. Like because they don't like foreplay at all. And I get it. The Johnny Gargano vegetative vessel that he is for the last 6 to 7 months. But the thing is that he hasn't gone away.
right,
He's still been on TV almost every Friday. Something is going to happen. Something is going to happen with Johnny Gargano eventually. People just need to be patient. Just because something happened on this week doesn't mean something else needs to happen the very following week. Or you need to put your fucking phones down while you're watching and listen to what the storytellers, i.e. the commentators, are telling you, and or the storytellers on the mic, the wrestlers themselves, what they're saying in their promos. I see the report on Fightful, and I'm not dissing them, Fightful at all, but they're like, rumors are that there's a buildup to have LA Knight versus Roman Reigns. Well, no duh, because LA Knight said very what's the word I'm looking for? He said it on purpose. He said, we can go against each other for the championship tonight. We can do it at Saturday night's main event, or we can even do it at Money in the Bank, which was the last one he said. He said those things on purpose.
Right.
Maybe not the first one. The first one was just to get a rise out of the crowd, because the crowd would be like, yeah, let's fucking go. We'll have a match tonight for the championship. But he said those things on purpose because we're probably not going to get it till Money in the Bank. So they put that in your brain to let you know, okay, this story is probably going to be this long until we get some kind of culmination between Roman Reigns and LA Knight at Money in the Bank. That's the latest that they gave us. Is it over analyzing on my part? No, it's not, because I'm just listening. That's all I'm doing, is I'm listening to what is being told to me. Yes, I might overanalyze those things in a sense of fucking string theory, like this guy,
Yeah.
because this guy was talking to this guy on the phone. Yeah. But when it comes to, hey, there's some kind of story being told here. Yeah, because they've said these little key words. That's my little prodigy. Big Cass showed up. Well, what the fuck was Javon Evans doing? He wasn't in the Intercontinental title scene because Chad Gable got that moment, so they needed something for Javon. Hey, Big Cass, big giant dude, let's start building Javon up. Because who's to say that once Javon gets through this program with Big Cass, if he wins or loses, he doesn't show out at Money in the Bank and
Right.
he gets a spot in War Games or something, and then he's a viable candidate to win the Royal Rumble next year. Like, those are things that can happen, because it really does look like we're getting this youth push. We're getting Oba Brock for no title, just getting them right out the gate. We're getting Chad Gable's not young, but he's got his first singles title run. It's just, people need to be patient and just take the bits of information and just store it. Like, they'll come back to it. And I'm not saying everything gets an answer. Like, we never found out who knocked Jacob Fatu's teeth out. It was,
Right.
you know that Drew McIntyre did it, but we never really found out who did that. But they had Drew, and we could say, well, Jacob Fatu thinks Drew did it, and we got an ending to that story because they had that street fight against one another.
No, I'm with you. You just patience is key. Like, what about the Street Profits?
Montez just had a baby.
Yeah. What about Ilya? Just because we don't know, we're not like creative, or the business is not trying to punish us. There's real world stuff going on. There's also, they gotta have something. They gotta have a good story to tell for them. Just be patient. Just like with Oba, just like with the vast majority of this shit. Hold fast and you'll get your answers.
SmackDown looks good tomorrow. We got a triple threat tag match for the AAA tag championships and the SmackDown championships. So we got the Viking Raiders, R-Truth and Damian Priest versus the MFTs. Haku's going to be there.
Yeah.
We got a U.S. title match, Carmelo Hayes versus Baron Corbin, and this is in Boston, Massachusetts. That's where Carmelo Hayes is from.
Okay.
We got a U.S. title match on the women's side, JC Jane versus Tiffany Stratton.
That'll be ripping.
3 title matches. We're going to have another Punk Owens something. I'm sure we're going to have a Cody Randy something. Probably going to have some kind of something between the baddies, aka Cargill Cartel, because now that Charlotte and Alexa look like they have a new teammate. They got Tatum Paxley, who just got called up from NXT, and I guess she's kind of Lily humanized. I don't know, because Alexa came out there and held up the play, and then that's when Tatum Paxley showed up. Well, she held up Lily, and she held up the hand that said play on the side of the glove. Mm-hmm. So we got 3-on-3 there. I mean, there's a lot going on, a lot of stories being told. And I mean, that was a whole story between Jade's faction and Charlotte and Alexa, is that Charlotte and Alexa couldn't get over the numbers factor. So what did they do? They went out and recruited someone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Chelsea Green, she broke her orbital bone last week, Friday. So I don't know, is she going to, if she does wrestle, is she going to wrestle in like a Rip Hamilton, Detroit Pistons, Phantom of the Opera mask? Maybe.
Right. Did Chelsea, didn't she wear that mask once before?
When she broke her nose, when
Yeah.
Zelina Vega popped her in the nose it was in the match for the inaugural U.S. women's title.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that should
Yeah.
be fun. I mean, it sounds like like just a ripping ass card and should be a really good show. I mean, I think Kevin Owens and CM Punk are going to be nasty to one another.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we're gonna get from Cody. Is he gonna go more
Hmm.
Homelander? I don't know. We'll see. It'll be fun. You got anything else?
No, I'm good for right now, man.
All right. I think was there 17 days until Florida State football? Little Florida State prep. Five things we're excited about. Five things we're worried about when it comes to Florida State football. Be sure everybody likes, subscribes, and comments on Spotify. I'm at AJG Pop of 3 on all social media platforms. Next Thursday, we got a guest, our first ever guest on Russell Buddy Veterans, Todd Torrance, the owner and drone pilot of 0 Point Audio and 0 Point Aerial. He's also the drone pilot for WWE. It's going to be our first guest. Wayne's going to talk to him for a bit about stuff for specific drone type stuff. We'll see if we put that on the pod. It depends on what they talk about. And then I'm going to hit him up with some questions about being a drone pilot in the WWE. So, Wayne Housen, give me another grade.
And they kick me in the John Wiener. Y'all take it easy, homies. And they kick me in the John Wiener.